afraid, we no see no one where we afraid of. We no afraid, we no see no one where we afraid of. Yeah, this is Everton Blender. And it's all about the young police from Jamaica, seeing Young Police Channel. Big up yourself, Everton Blender said that. We no afraid, we no see no one where we afraid of.
Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police Channel. To our loyal viewers, subscribers and Patreon member. At the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because they save lives. This is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives at this channel. We at the channel aid criminals with a passion and do not want them over here. We do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you to go to prison or the departure lounge at Madden. Yeah, so moving on to today's video. Remember that this channel is a channel that celebrates informers. We do believe that informers must live and every killers must go straight to the departure lounge. We don't even believe in prison because if you take a life of someone willfully, without justification, that's where you should belong. The same rights that you want, that's the same rights that your victim supposed to enjoy. So moving on to today's video. Yeah, so they said that you know there's no honest deed that is not being rewarded. So we have a man who goes by the name Bryco. He was a wanted man, a killer, and he was a part of the Klansman gang. And the police, they were able to send him straight to the departure lounge and they recover several guns. You're going to hear it in this video from the commanding officer of St. Catherine North, in which I'm telling you, the audience member, how many gunmen that they'll be able to send to the departure lounge within a 24-hour span. And these are men who are part of the Klansman gang and part of the Commodore Massacre. Well, you know, in Jamaica, killers, they always feel like they're insulated and they are made of steel and the police can't kill them. Because you have people in the communities who tell them that they're G and they're done and they're big and they're bad. So they feel free, they can do everything and they can kill at will and break the law as if they have immunity. So this is the end of Bryco and the 3D printer of death. So you know, those of you, so show your Jamaican people evil. Why am I not buy a 3D printer just to make gun parts to kill other people? Let that make sense? It is just evil at its best. Jamaica woke up to thunder this morning. Not the kind from heavens. Yeah, not the kind from the heavens, but the sound of justice roaring through the streets of St. Catherine. 3 alleged gangsters, including one of Jamaica's most wanted men, Bryco King, met their end in the yell of bullets as the police launched coordinated operation that not only dismantled criminal networks, but also exposed chilling new chapters in Jamaica's criminal evolution. The rise of 3D printed guns. 3D printed guns are guns that they make. These are, you call them in America, ghost guns. And this is how Jamaican people think evil. Remember, you know, guns are something that destroy lives. Why on God's earth, you as a person, all you're thinking about is destroying other people's lives to kill? And if that's the kind of person you are, you must expect to be killed. And when you are killed, there's no one that's supposed to be there with any sympathy or compassion for you or your family. Because you have been breathing evil, and evil only breathes evil. When good people remain silent, evil reign. So that's why we have the police officers to keep evil in check. So this is a new threat to national security. For decades, Jamaica's criminal underworld thrive on imported weapons, smuggled through ports, hidden in barrels, and exchanged for blood. But what the police found this time sent shivers down the spine of law-abiding citizens. In a darker corner of St. Catherine, lawmen stumbled upon something that could redefine modern crime. A 3D printer equipped with night vision capabilities, capable of producing suppressors, that silencers, and gun compartment right from the comfort of a criminal's living room. How is that? Because that's all these people think about: destruction, destroy people's lives. 3D printer is supposed to be the new form of technology that can help people. They even use 3D to build houses that used to take 6 months to build. They will use a 3D printer machine and build it in a month, and it is more durable, long lasting. You don't have to worry about to do any repairs or anything, because the material that they have been using is of a lifespan of 250 years. So that is how to reduce the lumber industry, cutting down the trees and all of these things. Because the trees, that's where we get our oxygen from. Just like the Amazon in Brazil, that's the oxygen of the world. That's where the art of it is in the world. So imagine our investigators so far indicated that the 3D printer was used to create firearm paraphernalia, including suppressors, which represent new and concerning trend in the criminal underworld, said Senior Superintendent Upton Nicholson, the commanding officer for St. Catherine North Police Division. Imagine that. Technology once used to build toys, tools, or prosthetic limbs now turned into a factory for death. A silent revolution in weapon manufacturing happening right here in Jamaica. That's how our people think. All they think about is how to destroy other people's life. Not to uplift or help others, but to kill. And what's where that culture came from 1972, from a white man from Britain. Michael Mann is the one that imported terrorism and criminality to us in Jamaica, and today it's thriving. Brian Briker King, end of the line. Among the dead was Brian Briker King, a reputed leader of a splinter faction of the notorious Klansman gang. A man who believed himself untouchable. For years, he ruled his corner of Kitty Town with blood and fear. His name, whispered like a curse, was on Saturday, October 11th, 2025, his reign ended violently. As officers approached his hideout, gunfire erupted, tearing through the quiet countryside. But this time, the police stood firm. They returned fire with precision, and when the smoke cleared, Briker lay lifeless, his deadly empire collapsing with him. At the scene, police recover a firearm, one more weapon that will never again claim an innocent life. Lauriston, another battle, another casualty. In Lauriston, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, the bloody trade continued. Acting on intelligence, officers moved in on a house along Bonanza Drive. They were met with gunfire from Audrey Trevor Bobley Johnson, another known gangster who thought he could outgun the law. He failed. He was fatally shot during the exchange, and 2 firearms with 13 rounds of ammunition were seized. Another chapter closed. Another family spared from the terror of his crimes. Then we have Linstead, the child killer's hand. But the most emotional strike of all came in Linstead, when the police continued their probe into the Commodore massacre, a blood-soaked tragedy that claimed the life of a 4-year-old angel, little Shannon Gordon. The killer, Fabian Creech Hole Robinson, a man so depraved he had hope in fire during that mass murder. This time, when the police found him, he didn't get to kill again. He fired at the lawman on East Avenue, but the officers responded with deadly accuracy. The same trigger finger that ended a child's life met justice. Fabian Robinson was sent straight to the departure lounge, where no appeals are heard and no lies can save him. So this is a message to the criminal underworld. This is not just a... Yes, before I start today's video, I'm just asking you, members of the Jamaica Young Police channel, you know, to subscribe to this channel. United we win that, divided we lose. Because once we unite as a people, they can't beat us. It doesn't matter who they are. They can't oppress us or brainwash us with their lies to tell us that up is down and down is up. We know that in this world, most people worship money, but we worship God. Our money is only of this world. And people hate you when they speak the truth. So, moving on.
For the St. Catherine North Police Division, a number of operations were conducted in the St. Catherine North Police Division. Today, Saturday, October 11, 2025. It resulted in police criminal confrontation, and all of those incidents are being investigated by the JCF appropriate body as well as Indicom. As we speak, two of the scenes are still being processed. But of significance, from the operations today, 4 illegal firearms were seized. And at one of the premises where they had that confrontation, we discovered some other equipment and some paraphernalia that are used by the criminal underworld. What you see here is a 3D printer, a very unique 3D printer, and it is used, it can be used, and based on all investigations so far, it was being used to print firearm paraphernalia. These are the filaments that were being used. This is one of the things that were used. This is used to place on this mount. This is a thermal mount. It also has night vision capabilities. This is also another thermal mount, and this is one of the items that was printed from this printer to put on it. It is also capable of printing suppressors. Most people know it as silencers that can be placed on firearms, and they are capable. It also can be used to print ghost guns, plastic firearms that can be used that are operable as well. Maybe not as durable, but they are also operable. We looked at one of the laptops that was seized at the premises. This premises is where 2 firearms were recovered. And on this laptop, we saw schematics and software that are used to connect to the 3D printer that can be used to print firearm paraphernalia. And we see where the person who had this laptop has the necessary skills and expertise to use the softwares that are on it to develop and to print things that can be used using all the things that you see here. The JCF has the capabilities to identify these equipment and the misuse of them or the illegal use of them, and we will be conducting our operations with the necessary expertise to identify them and to ensure that persons do not use this to conduct illegal activities. Well, as knowledge increases, things can be used for good or for bad. Some of the items here we have to check, because in a normal printer you will find a 3D printer. However, it is not supposed to be used because the Firearms Act, or the new Firearms Act, any part of a firearm you can be arrested and you can be charged for it, even if it is a plastic, it is an imitation firearm, and this can print firearms that are plastic, but they are operable maybe not as durable, but they're also operable. And we are saying to members of the general public, do not use such equipment to do these things. You will be caught and you will be prosecuted, because we know what we're looking for and we have the necessary expertise to identify the software and the schematics that you use on your various computers to create these kind of things.
Another police operation. It was a statement, a declaration that Jamaica is not for sale to criminals, that no gang, no don, no man-made printer of death can outsmart a determined united police force. Senior Superintendent Nicholson called it a significant blow to organized crime, and indeed it was. These operations were not accidents. They were the results of intelligence, coordination, and bravery from men and women who put their lives on the line so that Jamaicans can sleep in peace. The rise of the digital don, the discovery of the 3D printer, marks a terrifying evolution. This is no longer about guns smuggled from Miami to Haiti. It's about technology being weaponized by the wicked. Just think about it. A device that can print silencers, replicate gun barrels, and even mimic the precision of factory-made weapons, all under the radar, with no customs checks, no serial number, no trace. This is the future of crime, and Jamaica just saw it first glimpse. But thankfully, the men and women of the Jamaica Constabulary Force are standing at the gates, ready to fight fire with fire and innovation with intelligence. The reckoning has begun. Brian Bryker King, Bob Lee Johnson, and Creechole Robinson are no more. Their deaths send a clear message to every gunman, every don, every pretender to power hiding behind illegal technology. You cannot outprint justice. You cannot outgun the truth, and you will not outlive the law. As the investigations continue, the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, and IPROBE will review the operations. But one fact remains unshakable. Jamaica is safer tonight because 3 men who live by the gun have died by it. Let us be clear. This is not time to celebrate death, but to celebrate justice. So we at the Jamaica Young Police, yes, we celebrate justice because these were known killers. The people of St. Catherine can breathe again. The spirit of little Shannon Gordon can finally rest a little easier. And the criminals who thought they could build guns in darkness and have learned one final truth: the light of justice always finds them. So we say that justice has spoken. Tonight the people of Jamaica can rest a little easier. 3 notorious criminals, Brian Bryker King, Andre Bob Lee Johnson, and Fabian Creechole Robinson, have been silenced by the same force they tried to destroy, the law. Their names, once symbols of fear, are now cautionary tales. Reminder that no man who destroy innocent lives can escape justice forever. What was discovered in St. Catherine wasn't just a printer. It was a factory of death. A 3D printer used to create silencers, barrels, and gun parts marks a dangerous shift in Jamaica criminals' landscape. And this is the new face of crime. 3D printer, a factory of death. This is no longer the old style, gangsters with rusty guns. This is tech-driven terrorism, where criminals use innovation to kill in silence. But the Jamaican police have proven that they are not afraid of evolution. They will meet it head on. So let every gangster and gunman hear this loud and clear. You can hide in the hills. You can print your silencers. You can even recruit your soldiers in the shadows, but you cannot outsmart the truth. You cannot outprint justice, and you cannot outlive the judgment that comes for those who shed innocent blood. The departure lounge has no VIP section, and every criminal's ticket is one way only. No refund, no cancellation, no delay. Flight is always on time. We must salute the men and women of the Jamaican Constabulary Force and the Jamaican Defence Force who face danger daily. While some sit in the comforts and criticize, these officers put on their uniforms knowing they might not come home. Yet they still go because they believe in the promise of a safer Jamaica. Their courage deserves respect, not ridicule. Their actions deserve support, not skepticism. The blood of the innocent must not be forgotten. Let us never forget little Shannon Gordon, the 4-year-old child whose life was brutally cut short in the Commodore massacre. Her death was senseless, but her spirit will live forever as a reminder of why this fight against crime must never stop. The same bullet that ended her life became the reason the police tracked down and ended the lives of her killers. That is divine justice. The seizure of the 3D printer is a wake-up call for all Jamaicans and lawmakers and communities alike. Technology advances, and so is crime. And if we don't act now, criminals will no longer need to smuggle a weapon. They will just print them. It's time to strengthen laws, increase intelligence capacity, and invest in forensic and cybercrime technology to make this new threat and match it in every way. Because if criminals can evolve, so must our justice system. We must unite against this evil. Let this not be about politics or party colors, green or orange, JLP or PMP. Let this be about right versus wrong, law versus lawlessness, Jamaica versus chaos. We must unite behind law and order, or we will be divided by crime and fear. As the old saying goes, united we stand, divided we fall. And when we fall, evil reigns. To the people of Jamaica, if you stand with justice, stand boldly. If you support the police, say it proudly. And if you believe in Jamaica where children like Shannon can play without fear, then now is the time to rise up and defend this land. Evil doesn't rest. They are always plotting in dark, but neither does righteousness. As long as there are good men and women willing to fight, Jamaica will never bow to criminals. No fear of the wicked. Justice is not revenge. Let me remind you, justice is not revenge. It is balance restored. The scale have tipped back in favor of the law, and the message is clear. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. And it's just simple as that. We have zero sympathy for criminals. Criminals must live in fear of losing their life, and not the law-abiding citizen. I will say before and we say again, in this era, you can't be in the middle. You're either with law or enforcement officers, or you're with the criminals. There's no in-between. There's no silence. You have to take side. You either take side with the wicked, the killers, or you're with the law enforcement officers. Have yourself a beautiful day. Justice has spoken. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.